want to write something down, right?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
I talked to them.
Okay.
I was trying to mute myself because I'm sick and I didn't want to be sniffly in the microphone.
Well, we appreciate you staying home.
I think everybody just thought it was.
You are.
I'm just trying to get better by tomorrow so I can make it to bingo.
You know, we had a smaller crowd last week, you know.
You know, I bring the party.
You brought the party, you really did, and it was noticeably quieter, I must say. All right, let's call this fun meeting to order. Sorry guys, it's been a rough day. All right, secretary, meeting will come to order. Secretary will confirm that all board members have been notified and notice was properly posted on the association property in advance of the meeting, which it was, because I put it there on Saturday night. Termination of a quorum. Yes, we have a quorum. Fiona is not here this evening. She had a work conflict. So it is the 6 of us, but we have Robin.
I'm actually a live person.
In person. So it's exciting. All right, so motion to approve board of director meeting minutes from January 20th, 2026 as previously presented. We have over there a second.
I'll vote.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Meeting minutes are approved. All right, unfinished business. Review discussion of current landscape contract.
Yeah, to put it on there because it's tabled with.
Yeah.
So.
So we are continuing to seek bids. What Janet predicted, unfortunately, seems to be coming true, that it's not affordable anywhere. So we have been provided an updated contract by Jesus. The contract increases his monthly fee by $500, but it's a very scaled back responsibilities, and so we have not met yet with Jesus and his front office person because we are continuing to try to find bids for other landscapers to see what they're coming in as. One landscaper that I know Dawn and Robin, you kind of went through and looked for, great, but came in at about $3,000 more a month. And we don't have an extra $40,000 in our landscaping budget.
Well, to be fair, there was more that they were going to do as well, more than what we currently have in terms of, say, for example, the high palm trees, cleaning all the little nubs and stuff off. There's just, shaving and just other things, so.
Weeding out the shrubs.
Right.
That had like the dead inside, they were gonna pull that out, so.
Right, because right now all Jesus will do is, he'll do the flat ones, he'll do the flat shrubs, and palms under 12 feet. So,
And mow and weed whack and stuff, but the
Mow,
other
weed
guy
whack.
did too, but he wanted, he had more things, like he went through with us and he was like, well, this should be shaped this way, these are dead, if you cut these off, this is gonna grow more, so they had a lot of knowledge.
Yeah.
And we were really hoping they came in with a better estimate, and I did go back to him and said, this was not what we were expecting, we would love to work with you, but that amount of money is out of the question, is there anything you can do, and he said, unfortunately not, so we're kind of stuck with that.
Which unfortunately is kind of what Janet was trying to prepare us for.
Yeah.
We're
I actually
hoping.
expected way more than 40,000,
But that doesn't mean that we're not, like Fiona gave us a lead on the landscaper that they use at the church. So smaller organization, it might be as Janet said, if we're trying to go for like a larger company, we're gonna be hard pressed to get a lower amount, but we might have to hit up some of these smaller groups who are trying to, I don't know, prove themselves, make a name for themselves, we'll see. But for now, we are like continuing with our month to month with Jesus. Nothing's really changed. And we just continue to see if we can find alternatives. Because I think what's included in his proposed contract is mowing, weeding, trimming the hedges,
edges,
The
like
edges.
the walkways,
you
how
can,
they would
they
fit.
come out and
Edges.
clean up
Right,
the
edges.
side.
She said
But they
weeding.
do have to do, they do weed work, I mean, they do continue to spray for weeds and whatnot. And then some of the trees.
Some of the trees, irrigation, checking the irrigation. But one of the things we have talked about is the fact that we need more communication. For example, we have no idea when they check the irrigation. We have no idea, we just need communication, and I don't care if it's, okay, we went through cluster 5 today, and here's what your sprinklers are set at. Fantastic, thank you, at least we know it was checked. So, regardless of where we end up with this, I know we've all discussed more detail and almost have a statement of work for what what our expectations are going to be. At a minimum, we're gonna do that with whatever contract we end up with.
And everything in writing now.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the other
Come
part
up
of
with
it.
that.
So, and that's my fault, I will admit it. We have now agreed on a protocol where all estimates, all requests for work are communicated by email, and they have to receive the director approval before they begin work. We had an issue last summer where we requested an estimate and we found out they were on property and they cut back the tree and it cost us
$850.
$850. And we were gonna do the work ourselves. And then we had the bushes come out of the grassy knoll. They're basically the only good thing that was about that grassy knoll, and they were taken down, and Jesus had indicated I told him to do that. And that didn't sit well with me, and so I reached back out to them and just said, I would like you to provide the documentation that shows that I put in this request. He said that it was a verbal agreement, again, no. And we have put that policy in place, that it has to be approved in writing before any work can commence. So, but the good news is we're getting 3 bushes out there, at no additional cost. So, there's that piece of it that's nice. I did ask him to wait on, installing them because of the water ban. I believe his contract allows for 90 days on a new planting. And if it dies after that, he's no longer responsible for it. So I don't want him to put any landscaping in that could potentially die because we can't water.
I think I saw it's still like July
July
1st.
Yeah.
July 1st, as of now.
Yeah, as of now, right.
It's gonna go on for a while, so.
I can tell you, I live on a pond, it's just a pond, it's not the regular water, but I have beachfront property now, I'm serious. Oh, I'm totally serious, you can put a whole lounge chair down there and just lay out next to the pond, cause it's that low.
Watch those alligators.
Yeah, I'm not going to the beach, I'm just saying, if anyone wants to.
You can if you want to, yeah.
Don't close your eyes when you're sunning.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's going on, but it's
Yeah.
just so low.
It's really low, so it's just an update, we haven't really formalized anything yet, but at least we're still kind of working towards, improvement. So I think that we're gonna just perhaps table this until we actually have some bids, or the board has kind of recognized that we're not gonna get an affordable bid, or we have a viable option. What do you think?
Or we go with Jesus. I think we need to explore a
Yeah.
couple more options to rule out, okay, we got this, and this.
Yeah.
Okay, this company will do this, what are the recommendations, what are their reviews with everybody, and then we go from there.
Yeah.
We need to get more information.
When does our insurance renew?
It's at end of August or September.
Oh crap, it's too far away.
Well,
I just got one in, and it was $120,000 less than last year.
Wow.
So I'm hoping that all my associations see that jump.
wow.
And I was
That'd be
thinking if
wonderful,
you
then
guys
we
could
do
get a
100
jump,
and
we
use
could
them on
go do
diversion.
it, but that's kind of far away.
Right.
So that'd be amazing.
But we still have time,
Yeah.
because we can go month to month.
Because we've been month to month with him
Right.
this
Forever.
whole time, so honestly, there's no advantage for us.
And he's
Then-
not pushing, right?
No, and they haven't tried to, assess a higher cost to us as of yet, so,
Kind of rides the wave right now.
yeah, I mean, we're gonna just continue on a month to month, and if we find somebody else, fantastic. If not, we can continue this conversation going forward, because I think all we'll do is sign an annual. I don't want us to get locked into a multi-year, because I think that just allows for potential problems.
So you wanna defer this so it's not on every month?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
But I also agree that, like, meeting with him face to face, cause I called him, texted him this week, and I said, I wanna meet you, I wanna go over exactly where we're putting those trees. He's like, well, I'm gonna be on property on Monday or Wednesday, I'm like, okay, well, then you need to call me, because, and I went now, and I called him twice, and I'm like, I'm here, I'm waiting for you, and he's like, okay, I'll be there in an hour, and then he did come, and then I walked down, and I'm like, okay, this is what I want, here, and he's like, okay, and then I was like, all right, we needed him writing, and he had, his name was
Asia.
Asia, his secretary or whatever, send back the quote.
Michael's.
So, but I think, like I said, meeting him in person and telling him what we want done, and following up, okay, did you check the sprinkler system this month? Which one did you check? What did you find? Maybe we need more communication. It seems like, I mean, his English was better when I was speaking with him and understood, it was easier to understand him, and he's getting used to it, so, I don't know, maybe as directors, we just kind of push a little harder and say, what are you doing? When are you checking my sprinkler system?
And just so
I
you
don't know if it's gonna
know,
make a difference, but.
Robin and Don met with him yesterday, because we're gonna be adding more, along 63rd. So we initially last year put a certain number of photocarpus in, because it's what we had the money for, and we're gonna add more. So I think you had said that 15
Mhm.
is what was kind of agreed on, that 15 more need to go in there just to fill in. So that's something we did receive an estimate on, and I think it's in, you have the estimate, don't you, for us to chat about? Can we talk about it, or do we have to wait for?
The Port Corpus.
Here's the possibly, one of the 59 I haven't answered yet from you guys.
What is that? So I did, because there was miscommunication somehow originally with it. And the one that we got most recently, I wanna say was for the correct number. Originally, he had it for 30. I'm like, we don't have
Yeah.
space for 30, but that's fine.
So it's way more than, because when I asked him in person, I was like, what are you thinking this is gonna cost? And he's like, it's gonna be very similar to your other one, because you had 15.
Yeah, so we're looking at, to install the 15 at $75 each, $1,125. To get 15 more in, that's the plant purchase and installation,
Yep.
so.
But do we wanna do it if we're not sprinkling? Because it's important that they get water.
Or the ones
So,
Unless you have those things, the soaker tubes, you don't have those, right? You don't have the
not down
brown-
there, we
Yeah.
got the spigots.
Yeah, you can't use them
Right.
more than once.
So that might have to be tabled
You
until.
can't water.
Yeah. Just know that we're working on it.
You can hand water with,
A water, yeah, but I can,
you got a hose long enough to get over there?
Yeah, the ones by the cluster tree.
You have to do it every day.
that's the thing.
For
Like,
2 weeks.
Is that it though?
Well, then they need to cut back. We don't have to do it every day. When we first plant, I mean, now's the time to plant them, because it's cooler, and
Okay.
there's not as much shock, and you don't have to water as much. But you should still soak them every day for 2 weeks, and then you can cut back to like every 3 days. But that's a job, if you wanna take it on, then
Well, Kathy heard something different on the news, but if we can, I'd be more than willing to have it.
It's news to Kathy
To do it.
based on the look on it.
Oh, no, I just heard, I just asked if she heard about, but I just heard something on the news about them cutting back a manatee, that's all, you know.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Oh, but you can do it with a hose.
I didn't say that, I just said, they said as of July 1st, like, we're like,
I
whatever.
thought you said something about,
You can hand water.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, I can do it, I can do whatever you
It's
need
a
me to
lot,
do.
it's a lot of work though, so,
Yeah. I can do it until, I don't think we're doing anything for a
Bless you.
long time.
um,
I
And like I said, Susan, it's 2 weeks of watering every day, and then you come back to.
That's what I'm here for.
to be our water Sherpa.
No, to be anything.
Jerry, do you have anything on it, since it is right by your cluster?
I would like to see it done, sooner rather than later, if for no other reason, I believe people are climbing the fence.
Yes,
Since
they
there's no
are.
access, get cut through anymore, and that would cut back on them being able to climb the fence.
I agree.
And they've damaged, they've bent the fence in multiple
And I
places.
think that they do, let's go.
They're jumping in to cut through, but they don't even live here.
Oh, yeah. I've seen it. I've seen them even scale the vinyl one. So.
And it seems like some of Jesus' estimates, even I had the ones, are a little low right now. So I'm thinking, is he bringing these estimates in maybe here to the grapevine, or looking for somebody else? Or he did tell me it's slow right now. So might be the time to kind of jump on these options that we have. But like I said, would be your baby. And
Yeah.
if you don't want to do it, we totally
No
get it.
problem, I'll work with Laura or if she, whatever you tell me what to do, or,
Yeah.
That's what we put, talk to, I'll be back in a couple of weeks.
yeah, whoever wants to.
So do we need to, as a board, basically vote in favor of us moving ahead with adding the 15 code of purpose,
For how much?
$1,125?
Let's do it at the end under the over 1,000, since I didn't bring anything else for you to.
How many emails do you have left there, Jan?
For Pebble Springs, 59. For everybody else, like 270.
Oh, gross. Okay, I'm just putting it up there.
You're so approachable.
Alrighty. So glamorous.
I am not.
Our job is so glamorous. Every day.
She said, because I'm so approachable.
That's
why
why
I called you
you're
Danielle.
down here, goes, because you're so approachable.
She's funny.
Alright, consideration of maintenance position. So,
I'm sorry, one question, only because I'm gonna be done. Can we tag those? Cause I don't need to water everyone.
Right.
So we can tag the ones that I need to water?
Yep.
Okay, good.
If you want, I will tag the ones that are in there now, so that there's no mistake of, I'll put a ribbon on it, so you know.
Yes.
Good idea.
Thank you.
alright, consideration of maintenance position. This is back on the agenda because, Abraham did another, I'm in Mexico and I can't work for the next 2 weeks with us. And, I'm at a loss, at this point because, we continue to not know what he's doing.
He answers what he feels like answering.
Yep. For some reason, he responds to Susan. She's the only person. She's our Abraham whisperer, I think. But he doesn't even respond to Janet on a regular basis.
He does, just days later.
Yeah, that's helpful. And there's also, the fact that he'll come here and then he'll leave, and then say he's coming back, but we're not seeing any evidence of him returning. And it's just.
Some discrepancies on his time card.
Yeah, so he's just been given, I think, far too much leeway, and, I think everybody's frustrated. Like, what is he doing, and is he doing the job that we're paying him to do? And I think resoundingly, we're all kind of saying, no, it's not. But then it opens up the challenge of have to hire somebody to replace him. We have, this is what we pay, this is what the job responsibilities are, where do we advertise for it? There's all these factors, and I personally think it's time. Because he's just not reliable. And even when he's here, he's not reliable. And none of us have time to watch him and babysit and make sure he's doing what he's supposed to do and that he's here the hours that he says he's here. And short of us putting a sensor on the machine or the maintenance shed door, which I have looked into, it's just it's just frustrating, and we're tired. So it would solve the problem with anybody. There's some considerations with that whole thing, because it's Wi-Fi and all that other stuff, and I have no problem going down that path more, but, it's like, we're all in this position where, he's got responsibilities in every single cluster. Is he actually following through on any of those responsibilities in the clusters?
and now that you can't power wash, that's a less job one less thing he's not gonna be doing. So he's like, what am I gonna do? Oh, I'll clean up the poop stations and maybe ride around on my go-kart.
But he writes the same 4 hours on his time card, and he
Yeah.
is not here those days.
Right.
And when I question it, he's always like, well, I came in the next day. Well, okay, then write that on your time card.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe, like, if we go to like a church group or something and advertise or have posted, somebody there would wanna, if we make up a list of what their jobs are gonna entail, and maybe make it less, like have this person just come in and go through each cluster, not give them a ton to do, and give them less money. Somebody that's like retired, that would just want something to do, the putter, you know, come in and clean up the poop stations, and maybe go through on the golf cart and pick up the brush that everybody has.
A
Two little
teenager
jobs.
that's old enough to work,
Yeah,
saving for their first car or something.
yeah, something like that. Probably wouldn't be able to let them use the golf cart, but if there's somebody young, but an older person that wanted a little part-time gig, that might
They can
work.
use the golf cart, you have private roads.
Okay.
They just can't
They're not subject to
driving down
county
Manatee.
regulations.
Take it out on Manatee for a tour, right? That's all we need.
Oh, gosh.
Maybe that's an option we look into.
Like, I believe very firmly that the person is gonna either be retired or gonna be young and just needs a job that's gonna give
Right.
them some supplemental income. It's just where do we find them?
Mhm.
I wish that we had somebody in the community who was like, I'll do it. We can't have Susan do it forever. She fills in and she does a great job. It's just, we need some consistency.
I do wanna
So-
say that. I'm gonna give you the props that you deserve, because around the dumpsters and around the poop station, you do a fabulous job. You really, you take a lot of pride in it, and it is like, no pun intended, a really crappy job. So,
I try to pick the jobs that need to be done.
no,
She
but you
also-
do, and I've seen you clip the trees and everything. You do a fabulous job, so thank you.
She,
Appreciate that.
she did all of the trimming along 7th Avenue against the fences.
Yeah.
So that was
By hand.
I came in
very
the other day and I'm
rigorous.
like, I haven't been here in months, and I'm like, wow, this looks really good.
Yeah.
And I go to go, and Abraham's actually
Well, I'm
like,
trying to do
she
that.
does know it's Susan.
I've tried to do that, I've tried to do that with Abraham. He doesn't really have a list or things to do.
He
Yeah,
does.
he does.
He
Yes, he
does.
does.
He does, but they're regular daily list of things to do. If you're a person that walks or rides with him,
Mhm.
you can say, we need to do this now, and then finish it, and then we go to the next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing. When you ride with him and pick these things out and do them, you get more done on the property,
Mhm.
because you're riding with him.
Right,
Well,
somebody's
probably-
watching.
he knows he's not alone and can't hide under the tree.
Exactly,
Your
and you know,
babysitting.
and you know they're getting done.
Your babysitting.
The
Yeah,
babysitting employee.
yeah. And and then he can't leave, but I can't do that every day.
No,
Matter of fact, I
and that's
didn't,
not
you
your
know.
responsibility.
It's not. I mean, we hired him with the expectation that he would be able to self-manage
And then Laura, I talk to Laura every day when I'm doing that and tell her what we did, and then she tells me what he needs to do, and then I go and make sure he does it. So there's someone, just like you're doing with Jesus.
Yeah, just overseeing it, and kind of letting them know that we are watching what they're doing.
Yeah.
So maybe we start just putting some postings up and see what we got, you know?
Maybe, like, Fiona Street.
Yeah.
Start there. I wonder, what about the high school? Would they have a board or the library? I know in my town that's, when I post for, or one of the local colleges,
I was gonna say the library, you would think the library would.
the library, or your high schools, because I post at the high school.
You know, when I said high school, but then I thought, they're at school during the day, so that's not gonna work.
But maybe it's something they could whip in the morning,
Or
some of
even
them
when
go
a-
in late.
We
because
could put it
they're
on
not-
our board, maybe somebody knows, somebody
Yeah.
who's not, you know.
Put it on our
All due
bulletin
respect,
boards.
we get like half a dozen people, you know, we get 12 people here, you still have another 170, 60 to talk to. And just say, you know, looking for something.
Send me the details. I've got somebody in mind that, I don't know, depending on what we're paying, it may not be worth it to him, but I've got somebody that in mind that may.
Minimal pay,
It's like what?
minimal pay,
Okay.
yeah, that's
But,
why.
but yeah, send it to me at least.
But that may be something we can negotiate negotiate if it's not as many hours, maybe even give them, I don't know what's minimal.
If this is a go-getter.
No, I mean, we're paying minimal now,
Yeah.
that's what I meant.
Yeah.
That's
We're
what
paying
we're
minimal
budgeting
now,
for.
right.
Yeah.
This is a go-getter kid that's kind of like building, building his business repertoire, and, it might be something that, you know, he looks at and goes, well, I can do this for you for 2 hours, you know, spend 2 hours a day and get everything you need done. I mean, I don't know,
Yeah.
because I don't know what the list is like, but send it to me, and let me know, because it's a
Starting point.
It's a starting point,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, let's do it.
Alright, so that's where we stand right now for the maintenance position. I'll send a message to Fiona and Jerry, I'll get you that information.
Yeah.
Tricia, do you have any boards at, either of the hospitals that you could put something up? Do they allow that?
I don't believe so, but I can look into it.
If you don't mind, I mean, you know, yeah.
I was just gonna say, we're at the hospital. Working? We're working. Where are you
Well, I mean, you never
looking for?
know if it's like somebody
Somebody visiting.
who just wants to earn some extra cash
We'd
or.
like to hire you, do not bring the measles.
We don't want what you got. Any illness we don't want it.
Mine's just a cold, but.
We believe
Oh,
you.
we weren't talking about you.
No, we're just saying, don't be bringing any infectious diseases to
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, truly, like, I think the language barrier has been a bit of a challenge. He obviously understands more than he lets on, but,
He understands, cause I say, could you please do this? Because he doesn't respond, when I email him, it's time for payroll, he gets that email right away and responds to it. But when I text him, because now I have to use my personal phone to give him duties, he always responds, I'll do it tomorrow.
yeah.
And then I say, can you please confirm this is done? Crickets. Hello? Crickets. Day 3? Yes, it's done.
It's a
You'll have
challenge.
to do that, yeah.
If you don't mind looking into it, Tricia, that would just be helpful. Saturate, trying to find somebody.
I'm gonna ask the staff too again, because it changes, you know, it changes for them too, so.
You never know. All right, up next is unfinished, which is discussion regarding exclusion work for pets. So, we have, we were talking with Nature Zone about doing exclusionary work again, which, if, for those of you who don't know what exclusionary work is, the pest company comes out and actually walks the inside, outside of your cluster and identify access points that rodents are using to get into homes, and then they fill them or close them off to prevent it from happening. Cluster 1 has had a bit of, I won't say it's infestation, because that would be disgusting, an uptick in rats in the cluster. And when you're talking with Drew, the Nature Zone guy, Cluster 1 decided to ask us for pricing. What we did was we asked for pricing for the whole community, so we had it and we understood like what it would cost and all of that. So we obviously, I shared it with all of the directors, the emails with the cost about it, but did you guys take a look? I know Jerry, you had questions about it, right?
I know that, there's several spots that, look like over my cluster that could be problems, and would be, probably would be good to have them look at.
Yeah. It's just something we've talked about before. In the past, we haven't had the money for it, or it hasn't been, something that we've seen the need for. But we do have the pricing, so.
I don't have enough emails, if you want to send me an email reminder. I think I still have your exclusionary quote from Nature Zone. For cluster 2? Yeah.
Do you guys have any questions about it? Like, I don't
remember how much
it it wasn't as much as I thought it was gonna be. I think for cluster one, it was like 1,900.
That's what I was, ours
And
was-
wasn't it
ours
last
was
year like 4,000 a cluster?
See, it was a lot, that's what I'm saying, it went down, I think, so,
Well,
and I
think
do,
it was 15.
I was actually quite surprised when I saw it, 'cause I was like,
Yeah, I think.
I had to
it's
like, I had to zoom in, cause I was looking on my phone.
Yep, there it is.
But, yeah, no, have we gotten the exclusionary, you know what we're thinking of, it's termite stuff, the subterranean, that's what we got.
Yeah.
that's what you
That's
got.
what we got the price
Subterranean.
on. I was gonna say, no, that's way too, yeah, so we got some subterranean termite, quotes. Because.
And that's what I had the question, sent you questions on.
Yes, and so what we were talking about is, there's a treatment that you can put into the ground to prevent and basically kill subterranean termites. It is called Centricon. This came up again because while Drew was doing his work in cluster one, there was potential concern that there were subterranean termites. So we're like, get us a quote. It sounds like what he found was old subterranean termites, like old. But it's, and they were dead, but it's something that came up, and so I shared it with all of the board. You know, it may not be a need, but it's good to keep it in the back of our minds in case there's issues. I know that there have been issues in cluster 4, was it like 2 years ago?
So I was just saying to Janet, yeah, it was like $8,800, it was, Michael had contracted to do it before he stepped down. And, so what, I think I've been on 2 years, I don't think I've been 3. But it was, I remember it was $8,800 and they went through, dug a trench, did all this treatment around the whole cluster. And then we have annual, I believe it's annual, we're checking on it, annual treatments after.
Drawing.
Yeah, I think it's annual treatments after. And I think last year, I'd have to look, but I know it was well over $1,000, it might have been like 1,300, 1,500, 1,800. As more of a maintenance. It was expensive then.
He was supposed to have gotten me the
No.
exclusionary stuff before end of day, and he didn't do that, so. Alright, so we're gonna have to table that one, at least for the exclusionary work, because we have not gotten that bid yet. So maybe we can table until next meeting.
For everybody or for you guys? Cause I thought I sent you the one, that's what started this conversation.
The exclusionary, we haven't gotten anything for that yet.
Oh, the term, I thought we were still, no.
Janet, do you need some more of that coffee?
No, but you swapped to the road
Well, that's
thing.
because I realized.
We started with roads,
Because
then we went to
it's-
termites because we thought the quotes for roads.
Yeah, because it's
needed
an
to go back to-
exclusion work for pests, and so I'm like, oh, started talking and realized, oh, wait a minute, we don't have those quotes yet, we didn't get them to. We're not firing on all cylinders here tonight, I apologize. It's the worst Monday, Tuesday I've ever had, so. But I think we just need to table the exclusionary thing until we actually have quotes. So, I told him it would be in his benefit if he got it to us, by the end of the day. Oh, well. Okay, so we move on to new business. So those of you who are here and those that like have been in since you've been in here, as you can see, the clubhouse is less cluttered and cleaner. A few brave folks decided to go into the storage and empty it. And as we were kind of working in here, we're looking around and the walls are very dingy. We've got the lovely holes over there by the thermostat that were never painted over. And so then it kind of brought up the subject of when was this place last painted? Well, no, I mean, it hadn't been painted before that, but, is there a way to spruce it up by using paint? So I asked for this on the agenda as a consideration of, do we want to invest in the money to have this place painted? Or find people who like to paint and do a painting party? Because those people do exist. they do exist.
I'm one of them.
I don't mind painting, it's one of the things I don't really hate.
Yeah.
It's an instant gratification.
Yep.
And cheap.
Yes, so this is why, that's why painting, the clubhouse is on the agenda.
As long as nobody gets on the ladder.
We can't be anything higher than 4 feet off the ground.
That's if you're on the insurance. You're not, none of you are.
So we can't.
Committee members and board members are on the workers' comp insurance, so long as you're doing, but what is your job as a board member? It is not, it is running a corporation.
But our job is also to make sure that things are done.
No, but your job is not to save a penny. That is what you and the community want, but that is not what the insurance considers your job to be.
If we've got holes, then.
What if we
You
just have
can,
somebody
you
tall like
can.
Jeff?
Yeah.
We've got Jeff.
Cut in.
I mean, he could probably just do it standing on the ground.
You still have the top.
No, you can get the longer rollers, I'm just saying, you know, like for the top edge, you gotta be careful, you know, you can't get up there, you really can't.
You can get one of those edgers those red square edgers that, with the pole.
Slide.
Yeah.
We don't have enough for this.
When there's a little to it.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. All you gotta do is go on YouTube, there's all kinds of ideas.
That's true.
Tell you how to do it.
Yeah.
It's just, it's a, something I wanted to float out there, since it's just, we could have some pictures of mural. Pictures of the small page of mural. Like, she might like put some paper mache sea life on the walls.
That's just gonna take her away from drawing.
But, anybody else on the board have anything about that?
I think it needs to be done, and I think it should be scheduled, we should start looking for someone to do it.
Well, how about if we get one quote on repainting the interior, and we ask that individual, I'm thinking of someone I think might do it for us, to tell us how many cans of paint, or how many 5-gallon buckets they think it will take to do this, and then, get an idea.
Maybe it won't be
And
so
then-
expensive.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, well, that maybe, yeah.
But even so, at least then we'll have the paint count,
Right.
if we decide to do
Right,
it,
right.
right?
I think that's a good. idea.
That's a good idea.
I like that idea. As I look at the spots all along that wall,
It's all flat too, right? I mean, it'd be pretty easy to roll.
yeah. All right, so are we in favor?
Yeah, the
Doing
guy
the-
that came and sealed, Jim and Judy's, and the one in cluster 3 for you, the units, you know, did the bottom.
Oh,
where's the
yeah,
wa-
yeah.
That guy,
Okay.
Jack, he'll come over and do it, he'll do that
Okay.
first.
It doesn't hurt to get pricing and idea what it's gonna cost, to just try to squeeze this a little bit more than what it is. Do we need a motion? Is he okay? No worries, I just wanna make sure he's okay. Do we need a motion?
No, because we're not approving any cost.
Alright. Okay, consideration of camera installation. So, this stems from the New Year's Eve, blow through, from that woman's son. When we were speaking with the Manatee County Sheriff, he basically told us that we would continue to have problems, unless we started installing, like trail cameras throughout the property. And so Roxy from Cluster 4 has a little tech geek that she used to work with at the bank, who she provided all of the details of, here's what this sheriff suggested. Now, background is that the sheriff owns property in Brazil. And from his phone, he pulled up the property and showed us all of the camera angles from his property in Brazil, and explained that they were trail cameras and everything that he did. And it was like the first time that somebody dumbed it down enough that it made sense. And so, you know, obviously, we continue to have people who dump, in our dumpsters. I'm not sure who decided to put, I think, 2 or 3 mattresses in the dumpster over between 1 and 3, but that was quite the achievement, watching the trash company actually get those out of there. So we're just, and we continue to have people on the property, and so I think it's time for us to really kind of look into what we can do, in the hopes that it also means that we're gonna cut down on the people who are wandering through. And so what he had said is, it's primarily gonna be trail cameras. They can do something called a wireless bridge to get internet from the clubhouse. That's gonna cost approximately $150. Putting cameras by the dumpsters, 2 good cameras, one for zoom to plates and one for a wide angle overview, probably $260. A weatherproof box to put everything in, about $80. Essentially, he estimated $650 to $800 for a solid DIY setup.
And that's just that one set of dumpsters?
I have to find out if that's just one set or what. But we do have the trail camera that's positioned down by the cluster 2, cluster 6 dumpsters. It actually gets very clear pictures. However, where it's located means that you never get to see somebody's license plate. So the location itself is not providing a ton of value, though it did help us when